Now declare this meeting of the Ware County Board of Elections and Registration in order. Miss Marion will do the invocation and Miss Ludine will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Dear Father in heaven, please bless us today. Bless this meeting, Lord. I pray that we will move this in the direction in which you want it to go, not the way we want it to go. Amen. Please bless those who are watching us, and Lord, keep us all safe from harm. These and other blessings we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ladies. Mr. Supervisor, would you please call the roll?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Andy Preston. Here. Ferdinand Chambliss. Here. Marion Solomon Gaines.
Here.
Ludine Whitfield.
Here.
Chairman Bartlett.
Here.
And Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
You have the agenda in front of you, one page. Does anybody have any recommended changes? Seeing none, we'll accept it without objection. We have no organizational session. Mr. Supervisor, any public comments?
Yes, sir, we have one, Dr. Earl Martin, wanted to talk to y'all about QR codes.
Mr. Chairman, I am Dr. Earl Martin. I am from 902 Elizabeth Street, Lacrosse, Georgia. First, before I make my comments, I would just like to thank you all for serving in a thankless task. I'm just here to remind you what the law of the state of Georgia is. In the state of Georgia, the law is beginning in July of 2026. Is just within 4 months, the QR codes are supposed to no longer be effectively used for elections in the state of Georgia. And unfortunately, as you know, the legislature hasn't done anything. The Secretary of State hasn't done anything, but the law is still the law. And if we are a nation of laws and not of people, unfortunately, I think maybe your board may be the ones that are held responsible for that situation. And I know that as I speak, often people speak, they ask, well, what would you do? And the answer is, I don't know. I can answer that question for myself or for you, but I just know that I just wanted to reiterate to you that the train's coming, and I'm not sure what the plan is or what you've received. What I've heard, nobody really has a plan, but maybe you do, and maybe you've heard something that I have not heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. The meeting minutes you have in front of you. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Anybody need more time to go over the minutes? All right, seeing none, we'll accept them without objection. No public hearing, no unfinished business. Except now we have new business. Mr. Supervisor.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, we have one item, new business, call for the special election, House Bill 1093, which is a non-binding advisory referendum dealing with the perimeter road around Ware County. This is on your agenda. It was passed by the House and the Senate. It was introduced by Representative Burchett and Corbett. It hasn't been signed by the governor as yet, but once signed, the board here would have to call for the election. It's in the law that you will have to call for the election, and it'll be placed on the May general primary. The reason why I'm bringing this to you now, even though it's not signed by the governor, is that maybe we can discuss it and vote contingent on the governor's signature, because if it's going to be on May, we need to go ahead and vote on it now, or come back the 1st of April, whenever, and have a call meeting just to vote on this one issue. So in front of you, you have a copy of the House bill. Like I said, it's been already approved. It passed the House and the Senate. It's waiting on the governor's signature. I text Representative Burchett this morning. I assume they're in session. To ask him where is it standing. Has he talked to the governor? Whatever. I haven't heard a word. I haven't heard back yet. Actually, I wasn't anticipating hearing the word. Because if he's in session, he's not going to be able to answer right away. And I have that, and plus a copy, a draft of the public notice that will have to go in the paper at least 2 weeks prior early voting. So that's what I have, Mr. Chairman. We'll take questions.
Board, since it's on our agenda, it is already been proposed I have a few things I'd like to bring forth before we decide what we want to do. And I'll open it up for discussion for the whole board. First of all, we want to let the public know our vote in no way signifies how we feel about having a bypass. All we will be voting on is whether to put it on the ballot or not. But in the law itself, it says, and I'm on page 2, line 17 of House Bill 1093 as passed by the House and Senate, the election superintendent of Ware County, and that is us, Mr. Nelson is the supervisor, the election superintendent of Ware County shall call and conduct a non-binding advisory referendum election as provided in this section for the purpose of submitting this question to the electors of Ware County to determine whether a majority of said electors support a perimeter highway bypass around Waycross. Let me express my opinion that whether we vote yes or no, or let's do this later, if the governor signs this bill, which he has not done yet, it's going to happen. And we don't want it to be construed by the public because we know that it is an inflammatory proposition as evidenced by this room here being filled one day when the county commission just met with other commissioners, met with the Georgia Department of Transportation to review, to just explore. But the word was out that they're going to vote on a bypass, and it caused a lot of consternation in our community. So I just want to be clear that whatever we decide, it is not we're approving or disapproving a bypass. It would be my advice that we would pass a motion to approve the bill being put on the ballot contingent on the signing of the bill by the governor. I don't think we need to get ahead of the governor. I'll now open up for discussion.
That's a good idea. That's what we should do is, what you just said.
Okay. Anybody else?
I think we need to also read what the proposed language is so that the public has an idea of exactly how it's worded.
Yes.
As well.
The public notice, which has been prepared by the supervisor and will be in the paper, it has to be in the paper twice. It says, notice is hereby given that in accordance with OCGA 21-2-540, a special election shall be held in Ware County for a non-binding advisory referendum for the purpose of ascertaining whether the electors of Ware County support a perimeter highway bypass around Waycross. The special election will be held in conjunction with the May 19, 2026 general primary election. Non-binding advisory referendum. Do you support a perimeter highway bypass around Waycross? Yes, no. All persons desiring to vote for approval of the question shall vote yes, and all persons desiring to vote for rejection of the question shall vote no. All persons who are not registered to vote and who desire to register to vote in the special election may register to vote through the close of business day on April 20th, 2026. Polls will be open from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. on Election Day, and it will be signed by Mr. Carlos Nelson, Supervisor of Elections, Ware County Board of Elections and Registration. Anything else? All right, so I'm going to take that as a second, what you said. So the motion before the board is that we approve this resolution contingent upon the governor signing the bill. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Supervisor's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In your packet, you have the 2026 candidate qualifying list. We have Ware County Board of Commissioners 1 and 3 up this year. We have 3 candidates qualified in District 3 for the school board. And we have, not the school board, excuse me, the county commission. And the school board, we have 4, 5, and 6. And we have 2 candidates qualified in District 6. And of course, Ware County Solicitor General Brad Collins qualified there. So we will have contested races in County Commission District 3 and Ware County School Board District 6.
Mr. Supervisor.
Yes.
Let me just go ahead and read this for the public. And I've noticed it's already posted on the doors of this building. I'm sure it's posted on the doors of our building. And it'll be in the newspaper. So we want everybody to know who's running and for what. Now, these are only for local offices. This is not statewide offices that we'll be getting information on later. So for the Ware County Board of Commissioners, District 1, Leonard Burst Jr., incumbent, only one that qualified. Ware County Board of Commissioners, District 3, Timothy Lucas, incumbent, Jonathan Daniel, and Raylan Guy. Ware County Board of Education, District 4, Rusty Gaines, incumbent, only one to qualify. Ware County Board of Education, District 5, Wendell Bagley, incumbent, only one to qualify. Ware County Board of Education, District 6, Brandy Waters, incumbent, and D. Meadows. And the Ware County Solicitor General, Bradley Collins. Anything you'd like to add, sir?
No, sir. You got it right.
Board, any comments? Okay. Is that it?
Yes. Well, also on the, just for your knowledge, I have the 3 questions that the local Republican Party will be putting on the ballot. These 3 questions will only be on the GOP ballot, not the Democratic ballot. Okay, and
Do we have a list of those?
yes, it's right behind the, you have a spreadsheet with a list of the names, and then you have another spreadsheet with just the questions. And these questions will be only on the Republican ballot, not the nonpartisan ballot. If anyone gets a nonpartisan ballot, it won't be there, it won't be on the Democratic ballot.
I'm sorry, I was still reading. What did you?
No, I was saying the 3 questions will only be on the GOP ballot, locally. You know, it's only a local referendum, not a referendum, but a non-binding question.
Mr. Chairman,
Ms. Marion.
can the supervisor explain how these questions work?
Okay, well, the law gives local Republican and Democratic parties an opportunity to put questions to their party membership, to anyone who receives their ballot on the ballot. So I assume the executive committee for the GOP got together and decided these are the 3 questions they wanted to put on the ballot. Now, there will be additional questions from the state parties that will be on everybody's ballot statewide, but these 3 ballot questions will only be on the local ballot for the Republican Party.
And if the majority agrees?
It's non-binding. It's
That's
just an
right.
opinion
Okay,
poll.
that's the
straw
part,
poll.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Supervisor, your Gavrio conference?
Okay, just give you an update on March 22nd through the 25th. We'll be heading up to Athens for the Gavio conference. So The office will still be open. I think the election clerk, Lori Williams, decided she's going to do hers virtually, just stay here. So she'll be here locally, and me and Taylor will be heading up to Athens for the conference. Okay. Before I do the financial summary, I do want to talk about Senate Bill 568. It was mentioned briefly in the comments, in the public comments. 568 did not pass in a long session from Friday night, and that was a lot of things in that bill. But one of the issues that we had, it's like it was mentioned in public comments. July 1st is the date that the QR codes by law must come off the ballots, and that bill was passed 2 years ago. In the meanwhile, the legislature never funded, any kind of replacement system. Nothing's been done. So now the state has its backs up against the wall as of July 1. So in Senate Bill 568, one of the ideas was to go as of July 1, paper ballots for the general election in November. A lot of counties oppose that idea because of the financial burden. It will be a financial burden on counties. Personally, I emailed a couple of the senators to ask them to oppose it because, and I'll just go publicly and let y'all know, let the viewing audience know, is that for regular elections, like in May, for example, we'll order about 2,000 emergency ballots, provisional ballots that we need to have on hand just in case, there's equipment issues. Very rarely do we have to use them. We have to use a couple for provisionals only, but we order about 2,000 of those ballots, which is about 10% of the registered voters that we have in Ware County. So we order 10% ballots. It costs us somewhere in the neighborhood of about $1 per ballot. So we spend about $2,000 per election for the ballots. My opposition to the bill is that if we go all absentee ballots and we have 22,500 registered voters, realistically, we have to have a ballot for every registered voter because we don't know whether we're going to have 10% turnout, 50% turnout, or 70% turnout. Okay, so you have to plan extras. Okay, actually, we're going to order more than those because people that make mistakes have to get another ballot. So if we spending $1 per ballot, instead of us spending $2,000 every election, we're going to be spending a little over $20,000 just for paper ballots. If we have a great turnout, great. If we have a 20% turnout, we're going to destroy 80% ballots. Okay. Our budget for election expenses, which includes ballots and any election equipment repairs and things that we do, is about $60,000 a year. So think about a regular election cycle where you normally have basically 3 elections a year. Basically we talk about almost $70,000 in ballot paper. And that was my biggest concern. Gavio, myself, we all in favor of doing ballots on demand printing. Okay, if we want to go absentee ballots, that's fine. But there's some states, and it's been talked about in Georgia, to where as you go in and you go through your check-in, you give your ID, you sign your oath on the poll pad, and then once that happens, normally you would get your green voter card and you go to the machine. But ballot by demand, instead of you getting a green voter card, once you sign and it's processed, it will automatically print you a ballot. We're 100% in favor of that because now you can control waste. You're only printing what you need. We were hoping that if the state is going to do anything, go that direction. But of course, the legislature didn't put money in the budget for this budget year to do that. And so a lot of the counties, most of the counties were like, please don't try to rush between July and October to do this now, because we don't want to be in a situation like we were in 2020, where we're trying to train poll workers to do something at the last minute, and we're going to have errors, and then we're going to have mistakes. Okay, we don't want to set our poll workers and our election officers up for failure. Okay, and so we're in favor of doing ballot on demand printing. The state needs to buy the printers, because you just can't go out to Staples or Kinko or whatever and just buy any printer that you want to get. It has to be something certified by the state and by the election commission. But even in Ware County, you would have to have 2 for early voting, at least, and then you need to have at least 2 every precinct, because you can't have just 1 ballot printer at each precinct, because one goes down, you have to have another one there to use. But then when that one goes down, we need to have extras in the office to take it out there, to a precinct, because if that second one goes down, then you're going to have voters without ballots. Okay, and so there's a lot of logistics involved in going all absentee ballots. And so personally, I was glad that that the Senate did not pass the bill. I'm hoping that they'll take a look at it and make some changes. I don't know if they're going to attach it as amendments to other bills, some other things they could be doing, or either attach an amendment where it can push off the implementation of this July 1 implementation until next year, and then budget the monies for the state to go ahead and buy new equipment. That's the thing about it. 2 years ago when they did the implementation date of July 1, they should have put money in the budget then to start doing some trial runs and seeing what equipment we want to do, or what direction the state didn't want to, where they wanted to go. They didn't do that. And so now everybody's, pulling their hair out trying to figure out what to do as of July 1. But it does not affect what happens in May. It won't affect what happens in the runoff in June. We're concerned about November, because that's after the implementation deadline. So that's Senate Bill 568. Recap. Any questions or comments?
You and I discussed a little bit about them putting too much stuff in one bill, and there could be some good stuff in it, but it gets soured by something that's bad. And as close as I can tell, there were 5 things put into this bill. From public posting of eligible voter lists. It required counties to post and make public the list of eligible voters before every primary or election. Would that even cause a burden on your office?
Not really. They still need to do some cleanup language in that, because one of the issues there is that even in Ware County, we have probably half a dozen ladies that's on the do not disclose list because of domestic violence or different things like that. And so their name can't be produced. But the way the bill is written now, their names would be produced. That means if there was a husband out there or a boyfriend or whatever that they're trying to, stay away from, that could be an issue there. So that was one of the cleanup things that they're going to have to clean up, because we want to protect, ladies and guys, whatever, of domestic violence. But I know we have about 6 of them here in Ware County that's on that list that we cannot produce their names. But other than that, we don't have an issue, because the list is, we have a list anyway. It's on the computer. We'd have to print it. My only issue is that it's saying that absolutely at no cost. And so we could have 10 or 20 people coming in on the list, and we'll be spending time and just, because no cost, it's got to be at least something. So, you know, you need to have some skin in the
Always
game.
a cost.
It's a cost to the
It's
taxpayers.
who's doing it.
Yes, it's a cost to the taxpayers.
That's right.
You know, now if it was put on the website and where people can download it and all that good stuff without the names of the domestic violence, ladies or the people, that's fine. You know, they can download it and you know, all their protected information will be redacted and taken away. But if you say come in and get a paper list of 22,000 voters just in Ware County, you know, that could be very costly. And
Yes.
and there's no telling, you know, you can come up and you can come up and you can come up and you know, we can be spending a lot of money in paper and things like that. So I understand it's not 10 cents a page like you would normally do an open records request, but it needs to be some cost for producing that. You know, that's just my opinion on that one.
I think one that Mr. Martin would be, he's probably informed about this, voting system updates effective July 1st, 2026. Revises provisions related to the uniform system of election equipment to be used after July 1st. The bill failed.
Yeah.
It's typical government that doesn't want to take ownership in their responsibilities. They abrogate to somebody else or they kick it down the road. And it's failed, so I guess we don't have to worry about it till it pops its head up somewhere else.
Until it pops up somewhere else. Like I said, my issue there was just if 2 years ago when they put it in there, they should have funded it. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Speaking of funding,
And let me say, and local boards have no control over that whatsoever. But I agree 100% with what Mr. Martin said. You know, people look at the boards and thinking that you may have, you know, control over that, and local boards have no control at all. It's all based in legislature. They make the laws, they can change the laws, they can do what they need to do on that end. But it has nothing to do with local boards at all.
financial summary?
Well, you have the July summary there in front of you. Remember, it's always a month late. I don't have the one from February yet. You know, we spent 51% of the budget as of the end of January, and at that time we were 58% of the yearly calendar. So we're under budget. Like I said, we will be spending quite a bit for the May and June elections, but we well in line with our budget again this year. You know, next year we will be requesting a lot more. If you notice, you know, we spent a lot on postage, and that's because you know, the list maintenance and you know, almost every month, you know, we're getting a lot of you know, changes and things that we have to send notices out to people for. You know, we've done a lot of address checks. You know, we looked at people that had addresses not residential but as businesses. So you know, so we've been cleaning that up because you know you have to be registered at where you lay your head at night, a residence, not a business. So we had quite a few people. We had people that was living in industrial park. you know, these were from years ago. You know, it's just like, you know, and we've had to send them a letter telling them they had to, you know, either produce a residential address or they will be removed from the polls. Excuse me. So we've had a lot of that. You know, and so the state has done a lot more on helping us. You know, double check the list. And so that's why the postage is there, because anytime, you know, there's an issue, that voter will get a letter. You know, if anybody's going to be removed, they're going to get a letter first saying, hey, come in the office and do this or else. And then when they're removed, if they're removed, then they're going to get another letter saying, okay, you've been removed. So people can't say they haven't received notice, whether they get it or not. we don't know, because if they using a fictitious address and don't live there anymore, like a vacant house, of course they're not gonna get that piece of mail. But that's by law, we have to do that, so we spend a lot extra in postage, and I think going forward, that's gonna happen quite often now.
Yeah.
So that's what we have for the financial statement. If you have any questions or comments, let me know.
Board? Okay. Superintendent's report. I don't know if we've got anything. Last call, Mr. Preston?
I just want to remind the public that a lot of the decisions that we make are sometimes dictated by the decisions from the state level. And so our passage of certain things does not always implicate our own personal beliefs, but the fact that we have to follow the law from that standpoint. That's one of the things that I've learned in my short time on this board, and just not to confuse the two from that standpoint.
Marion?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first thing I want to say, gentlemen, is that is Dr. Martin. Y'all stop calling him Mr. Martin, please.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And Ms. Deborah Gittens, welcome, as always. Y'all, allergy season is here. And I learned the hard way. I don't care if you go outside, from your house to your car, put that mask on, because it's just, and sometimes you don't know if it's allergies or a cold, but the season is here, and I'm suffering right on through it like everybody else. So be careful, protect yourselves, and life happens, let it move. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, the floor. Mr. Bernie?
I don't have anything, I just, I echo what was said about the, position of the board. We just have to do what we have to do. And so, that's something we need to make, publicly. That's all I have.
Ms. Ludine, and welcome back.
Thank you. I want to thank everyone for your prayers and your concern on the passing of my son, Master Sergeant Gibbons. Y'all just don't know how much your phone calls coming by meant to me. I still need y'all prayers. I am so proud to be a part of this Board of Election of Waycross Ware County. Thank you.
All right. Our next meeting is scheduled for April 14th, 2026. Does anybody have any problem with that date?
No.
All right. Having gotten through our agenda and nothing else further needs to be discussed, I declare this meeting adjourned.